Under California law, when you're arrested, police do not need a warrant to seize and look through your cell phone. Law enforcement agents say cell phone searches are invaluable to solving crimes, but critics argue it's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. Here with what's at stake is Pat Ford, an attorney involved in the case, and law professor Alex Kreit. Pat, the case involves the 2009 arrest of your client, David Riley. Briefly tell us what happened to him that led to this lawsuit.
Well, he was stopped while driving. The police noticed that his license plate tags were expired, and then they subsequently discovered that he was driving with a suspended license. And based upon that discovery, they searched his car and they found guns secreted underneath the hood of the car, and he was arrested at that point. And at that time, they searched his cell phone on the spot. I did a brief search of his cell phone and then went back took the phone back to the police department, where they did a much more thorough forensic search of the phone.
And that actually led to further time in his incarceration?
Right. Well, he was the information taken from the phone was used to convict him of shooting at a vehicle, an incident that took place 2 weeks earlier, and it was also used to establish that the crime had been committed for the benefit of a gang, and it was the gang portion of the charge that led to the higher sentence. Okay.
Well, Alex, I understand there are exceptions to the Fourth Amendment for unreasonable search and seizure. Can you name a few of those for us?
Yeah, well, the key issue is really, when do the police need a warrant? And one of the big exceptions, and the exception that's at issue here, is what they call the search instant to lawful arrest exception. And that exception says, in general, if the police arrest you, they don't need a warrant to search your person and what they call the area within your immediate control. And the question here is, how does that rule, how does that exception apply in the era of smartphones, where we have, our whole lives potentially on our phones?
Yeah, and I guess that's the case here, that there was the guns in the car, but then this extra evidence actually had an impact on your client. Pat, California Supreme Court ruled in 2011 that defendants lose their privacy rights any time for their items when they're taken into custody. So why do you think a smartphone should be exempt to that very general rule? They were able to search his car, why not his cell phone?
Right. Well, as Alex said, the justification for a search after arrest is because they want to make sure that the person that's arrested doesn't have a weapon and that he doesn't have evidence of a crime. And so in searching after arrest, they eliminate those things. A cell phone has no ability, a smartphone has no ability to cause any harm to a police officer, and there's no ability for a defendant to destroy evidence.
There isn't? Couldn't you just wipe it clean?
Yeah, once the police have it secured, they can take measures that prevents a signal from going forward. So that it's a very fair question, and the answer is no, that's not a problem.
Alex, what's the government's argument as far as needing to search these cell phones?
I think the government argues, one, when you're arrested already, there's a significant invasion of your privacy, and so this rule should just allow them to search anything that you have. And also they say it is possible to remotely wipe these smartphones. Now, the critical thing is there are steps that the police can take to prevent against that. There are these special envelopes that the police can put the phones in that basically, once they're inside, there's no signal that can come to them. And so that, I think, is one of the critical issues. To what extent should the police be required to do something like that to prevent against that possibility of it being remotely wiped, versus should they just be allowed to search the thing on the theory that maybe it could be remotely destroyed?
What do you think is the potential impact of this case?
I think it's really significant. I mean, basically anybody who's arrested in this day and age is going to have a cell phone on them. So this immediately impacts anybody who's going to be arrested by the police. And it also could go beyond that, because this is a question about how to apply a current law to new technology, and that's something that U.S. Supreme Court is going to be dealing with for the next decade on a whole range of issues, from all the information we turn over to companies like Google and beyond.
All right, I understand we can expect a decision on this in June. So Pat Ford and Alex Kreit, thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Peggy.